Do you ever feel like you're just catching glimpses of the past? Like there's this huge, intricate story, but you're missing the deeper connections.
Yeah, like trying to see the whole pattern from just one thread.
Exactly. Well, today we're going to pull on one specific thread. We're doing a deep dive into 1 Chronicles chapter 3. Might sound a bit dry, maybe, a list of names.
Well, it does seem that way sometimes, yeah. Just genealogy.
But we're looking at the text itself and also some analysis connecting it to, well, to us today. Our mission is to figure out why this ancient family tree still matters.
Because, and this is a fascinating part, even these lists, these genealogies, they hold some pretty powerful truths about God's promises and, our own place in the story.
Okay, so let's unpack 1 Chronicles 3.
Right.
What's the basic layout?
Right. So it's essentially a detailed record focusing squarely on King David's descendants. It kind of breaks down into two main parts.
Okay.
First, you've got David's sons born back when he was ruling in Hebron. Names people might recognize like Amnon, Absalom, Adonijah.
Some infamous sons there.
Definitely. And then the chapter shifts to his sons born later in Jerusalem. This includes figures like Nathan and, crucially, Solomon.
Solomon, the successor, the one who builds the temple. He's highlighted.
He is. He's obviously key. But the list doesn't stop there. That's the important thing.
Ah, so it keeps going.
Yeah, it traces the royal lineage, Solomon's descendants, through the kings of Judah, Rehoboam, Asa, Jehoshaphat, all those familiar names if you know your Old Testament kings.
Right, down through figures like Hezekiah the Reformer and Josiah.
Exactly. And it goes right up to the brink of the Babylonian exile, mentioning Jehoiakim and Zedekiah, who was the last king before Jerusalem fell.
Wow, so it covers a huge span of history, just in names.
It does. And here's a critical point. It doesn't just end with the destruction.
It continues after the exile.
That's right. It follows the line through Jeconiah, who was exiled, and then lists his descendants like Salathiel and, significantly, Zerubbabel.
Zerubbabel, he led the return, didn't he?
He was a key leader in the return and rebuilding effort, yes. So the lineage persists, even through national catastrophe. It connects the pre-exile monarchy to the post-exile community.
So it's more than just history. It feels like it's making a statement. It's royal, but maybe spiritual too.
Precisely. It underscores God's covenant with David. It's not just about who wore the crown, it's about God's enduring promise.
Okay, so let's talk about that. What's the ancient wisdom we can pull from this list?
Yeah.
You mentioned God's faithfulness.
That's number one, I think. Remember, God promised David his line would endure. Well, this genealogy is like Exhibit A. Even when the kingdom collapsed, when everything seemed lost in exile, God preserved this lineage. It shows he sticks to his promises long term.
That makes sense. It also really highlights the impact of leadership, doesn't it? David's life, his choices, they echo down all those generations.
Absolutely. It shows that leadership, good or bad, has lasting consequences. It shapes destiny.
And the very act of writing this down, keeping track of all these names, well, what was the point for them back then?
Well, think about being in exile or just returning. Everything's been disrupted. Recording this history, this lineage, helped them maintain their identity, their connection to God's past actions and promises. It was about spiritual survival, really.
So knowing your story keeps you grounded. It informs who you are now and where you're going.
Exactly. It anchors you. And related to that is the message of hope.
How so?
The fact that the genealogy continues after the exile, mentioning Zerubbabel and others, that's a powerful symbol. It says even after destruction, there's continuity, there's a future. God isn't finished.
Hope rooted in that unbroken line. Wow. Okay, so how does this ancient stuff apply to, us, to the listener today?
Well, first, it suggests that your story, your life of faith, is part of something much larger. Just like every name in that list mattered, your faithfulness contributes to an ongoing legacy. You're woven into this bigger tapestry.
That's a powerful thought. It takes the focus off just...
Right. And it highlights the importance of family and spiritual heritage. Maybe you come from a long line of believers. Maybe you're the first one. Either way, the choices you make, the faith you live out, it impacts those who come after you.
We're all creating some kind of heritage, intentionally or not.
Precisely. And think about the brokenness aspect. The Davidic line continued even after the kingdom fell apart. That's a reminder for us, isn't it?
How do you mean?
That even when our lives feel chaotic or things seem broken personally or societally, God's promises still hold. His work continues amidst the mess, just like it did for Israel after the exile.
That's encouraging. God's plan isn't easily derailed by our circumstances.
Not at all. And it also sort of nudges us to value our own stories, right? The chronicler preserved Israel's story. Maybe we should be more intentional about preserving and sharing our own stories of faith, of God's faithfulness in our lives and our communities.
Yeah, those personal histories have power. They encourage others.
They really do. And finally, it calls us to lead with legacy in mind. Whatever sphere of influence you have, family, work, church, community, think about the long-term impact. Are you building something based on integrity, on service?
Leading not just for the present moment, but for the future. Okay, so bringing it all together, how does reflecting on First Chronicles 3 actually strengthen our faith today?
Well, I think fundamentally it serves as this incredible testament to God's unwavering commitment. You see centuries unfold, ups and downs, exile, return, and God's promise to David holds firm.
Seeing that long history of faithfulness gives us more confidence in his promises for us now.
Exactly. If he was faithful through all of that, we have a solid reason to trust him with our present and our future, whatever challenges we're facing. It builds that foundation of trust.
It's not just abstract belief, it's rooted in historical demonstration.
Right. And another thing, it shows God working through, let's be honest, seemingly ordinary people in details. A list of names, it looks insignificant. But through these people, through preserving this record, God was weaving his grand purpose. That can be really encouraging for us, right? It reminds us that God uses ordinary people, ordinary lives, including yours, as part of his amazing plan.
We don't have to be a King David to be part of God's story.
Not at all. So even when we face personal struggles or we look at the world and see huge challenges, this history reminds us God's bigger plan of redemption, of restoration, is still moving forward. It gives us real hope, a secure place to stand.
Okay, so to wrap it up then, the big idea seems to be God keeps his promises across generations, and we're all part of that unfolding story of faith and legacy.
That sums it up beautifully. His faithfulness endures.
So here's something to really chew on after listening. What kind of legacy are you building right now? How might your actions, your faith, your choices today ripple out and shape the faith of future generations?
That's a profound question to carry with you, thinking about our connection to that timeless narrative.